Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to travel to South Africa's Johannesburg on Friday till Sunday to take part in the G20 Summit. India records its highest ever defense production of $17.3 billion in 2024-25. Defense exports also reach a record $2.65 billion in 24-25. European foreign ministers stressed that any plan to end Ukraine conflict must include Ukrainians and Europeans amid talks of a US-backed plan which involves Kyiv making some territorial and military sacrifices. And ever since cheetahs went extinct in India in 1952, the first Indian-born female big cat brought from Africa bears a healthy litter of 5 cubs, a milestone moment for India's Project Cheetah. First up, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg in South Africa from the 21st to the 23rd of this month to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit. This will be the 4th consecutive G20 Summit to be held in the Global South countries. On the margins of the summit, the Prime Minister is expected to hold meetings with some world leaders. The PM will also be taking part in the India-Brazil-South Africa Leaders Meeting being hosted by South Africa.
Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg, South Africa from 21st to 23rd of November to attend the G20 Leaders Summit at the invitation of President of South Africa. This will be Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa, following his bilateral visit in 2016 and later for the 2 BRICS summits in 2018 and 2023. This is the first G20 summit that will be happening on African soil, and in that context will bring the spotlight on the development issues of Africa as also of the Global South.
Addressing the media further, Secretary E.R. Sudhakar Dalela said that the priorities of the summit will be important for India.
The summit will be important for India to ensure continuity of its priorities in the G20 after having hosted a very successful presidency in 2023. As you are aware, the G20 has emerged as a premium forum for international economic cooperation, as well as for discussing matters of global significance. The G20 provides an excellent opportunity for the leaders of these large economies and emerging economies, representing over 85% of global GDP and around 3/4 of the world population, to come together and discuss important issues impacting the world.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met his Australian counterpart Penny Wong in New Delhi on Thursday. In his opening remarks at the 16th India-Australia Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue, the External Affairs Minister emphasized the importance of the country's growing partnership with Australia. He said the collaboration owes much to the guidance and vision of the two nations' prime ministers.
Our growing partnership obviously owes much to the guidance and vision of our prime ministers. Today's meeting offers an excellent opportunity for us to not only review the progress achieved, but also to set the agenda, next phase of ties, and the recommendations that we would make to our prime ministers, I think, would be key for them to take into account when they will meet fairly soon.
And Dr. Jaishankar also met Afghanistan's Minister of Industry and Commerce, Alhaz Nuruddin Azizi, in New Delhi on Thursday itself. The ministers discussed ways to strengthen trade, connectivity and people-to-people ties. The External Affairs Minister reiterated India's support for the development and welfare of the people of Afghanistan. India has recorded its highest ever defence production of 1,54,000 crore Indian rupees in 2024-25. The defence exports have also reached a record 23,622 crore Indian rupees in 24-25 from less than 1,000 crore rupees in 2014. The upward trajectory in defence production is the result of continued government support over the past decade in the form of huge allocations and policy-level support extended to the nation's military-industrial base. The Defence Ministry said that the defence budget has increased from 2,53,000 crore Indian rupees in 2013-14 to 6,18,000 crore rupees in 2025-26, underlining the government's commitment to strengthening the nation's military infrastructure. The government aims to achieve defence manufacturing worth 3 lakh crore Indian rupees and 50,000 crore rupees in defence exports by 2029, reinforcing India's role as a global defence manufacturing hub while boosting economic growth. India's IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has said that India's chip-making capabilities are set to be at par with other major producers by 2032, an aggressive timeline that underscores the government's urge to bolster domestic manufacturing. This showcases the government's urge to strengthen domestic manufacturing. While addressing Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Singapore, the IT Minister also stressed that social media platforms should take responsibility of what they publish to strengthen trust levels in society.
Social media platforms must start taking responsibility of what they are publishing so that the society at large doesn't get harmed by what they publish. Every company which works in India must follow India's constitution, must follow India's laws. Every platform must understand what is the social structure of the country in which they are operating. How does a platform react to the circumstances? How does it operate in the scenario, the diversity that we have in our country? That must be respected.
India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval hosted the 7th meeting of the Colombo Security Conclave National Security Advisors in New Delhi today. He held discussions with his counterparts from Maldives, Mauritius, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Seychelles participated as an observer and Malaysia as a special guest. NSA Doval noted that the ocean is our biggest heritage and urged for enhanced maritime cooperation between countries joined by shared maritime geographies. In a breakthrough, the National Investigation Agency has arrested 4 more prime accused in the 10th of November blast outside Delhi's Red Fort, taking the total number of arrests in the case to 6. The latest arrests were made in Srinagar on production warrants from Patiala House Court. The accused have been identified as Dr. Muzammil Shakil Ganai of Pulwama, Dr. Adil Ahmed Radar of Anantnag, Dr. Shaheen Saeed of Lucknow and Mufti Irfan Ahmed Wage of Shopia. Earlier, the agency had arrested 2 others, that is Amir Rashid Ali, in whose name the explosive-laden car was registered, and Jasir Bilal Wani, who allegedly provided technical support for the attack. The public exposition of Lord Buddha's sacred relics brought from India to Bhutan from the 8th to the 18th of this month has now been extended by 7 days till the 25th, following a special request from the government of Bhutan. India's ambassador Sandeep Arya said the exposition is deepening the spiritual, cultural and friendly ties between India and Bhutan following Prime Minister Modi's recent visit.
The date by when the relics were to return, originally on the 18th of November, have been extended by a week through mutual agreement between the 2 governments. And I think it's a very religious, very spiritual community. So I think it is drawing a very good response from the people. People have really huge connection to India, and the presence of holy relics, Viprava relics of Lord Buddha, is seen as something symbolizing that connection among the people of the 2 countries.
India's cheetah revival has reached a major milestone. Mukhi, the first Indian-born female cheetah, has given birth to 5 healthy cubs at the Kuno National Park. DD India's Tapat Bhattacharya with this report. In a heartwarming milestone for India's wildlife conservation, history has been created at Kuno. Mukhi, the first Indian-born female cheetah, just 33 months old, has given birth to 5 healthy cubs. Since the Indian cheetah was declared extinct in 1952 an Indian-born cheetah has reproduced for the first time, marking a defining moment for Project Cheetah.
This is an unprecedented breakthrough for India's cheetah introduction initiative under Project Cheetah. And as we all know that the Project Cheetah has been initiated by Honorable Prime Minister on 17 September 2022. And with the birth of these 5 cubs to an Indian-born female cheetah, it gives a lots of optimism about establishing a viable cheetah metapopulation in India, which is the goal of our Project Cheetah.
This birth isn't just a landmark. It is proof that cheetahs are adapting, thriving, and finding a future on Indian soil. Mukhi and her cubs are doing well, and their arrival strengthens the belief that India's ambitious cheetah reproduction journey is firmly on the right track.
With the birth of 5 cubs, the number of cheetahs in India stands at 32, with 21 Indian-born cubs. Out of this 32, 29 cheetahs are there in Kuno National Park, 3 are there in Gandhi Sagar Sanctuary.
A new generation has just begun, and with it, a renewed hope for the fastest animal on earth, sprinting back freely and proliferating in India's wild. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. US jobless rate ticks up in September by 0.1% to 4.4%, highest in 4 years ever, even as hiring exceeds expectations. And Meta says all Australians under 16 will be taken off FB, Insta and Threads from the 4th of December before Canberra's under 16 social media ban takes effect.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what to save your.
We read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy, and up next, of course, we're talking about Ukraine because its Prime Minister Yulia Severenko has met top United States military officials in Kyiv on Thursday, including Secretary of the U.S. Army Daniel Driscoll. Later, in a social media post, she said that the visit provides an important opportunity for the senior military officials accompanying the Secretary to assess the situation on the ground and to witness firsthand the consequences of Russian aggression. Earlier, Driscoll and a delegation of senior U.S. military officials met Ukraine's military chief on Wednesday. Meanwhile, European foreign ministers have reiterated that any plan to end the conflict in Ukraine must include Ukrainians and Europeans. The reaction comes at their meeting in Brussels after the U.S. floated a framework which would involve Kyiv giving up some of its land and weapons as well as curbing the size of its armed forces.
All negotiations about a ceasefire, about any further peaceful development of Ukraine can only be discussed and negotiated with Ukraine, and Europe will have to be included. We are all on the same page here.
The Kremlin, however, said that any peace plan for Ukraine would have to eliminate the root causes of the conflict, and that though there were contacts with the United States, there were currently no formal negotiations with Washington on such a plan. The Kremlin said that it had nothing to add to what had been said at the August summit in Alaska between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his American counterpart Donald Trump. And Ukraine's military on Thursday said it had struck Russia's Ryazan and Ilsky oil refineries. Ukraine's military general staff said it had struck the Ryazan refinery overnight, recording a hit and observing fires in the vicinity of secondary oil processing facilities. Ukraine had also hit this refinery in a previous strike last week. US jobless rate crept up in September, even as hiring exceeded analysts' expectations, reaching its highest level in 4 years. According to a Labour Department employment report published on Thursday after a record-long government shutdown, the US and its economy added 119,000 jobs, but the unemployment rate edged up from 4.3 to 4.4%. The report will have implications for the Federal Reserve, where policymakers are deciding whether to make a third consecutive interest rate cut this year at their next policy meeting in December. A weakening jobs market could nudge the Fed towards further rate cuts to boost the economy, but officials are also trying to keep inflation in check. Major Asian markets, including Japan's Nikkei and Korea's Kospi, jumped up to 3% on Thursday as strong earnings by chipmaker NVIDIA boosted sentiment. NVIDIA earnings beat market expectations and calmed concerns over an AI bubble and stretched valuations. The company reported a 62% increase in revenue to a record $57 billion for the 3 months ended October, driven by strong demand for chips. London, Paris and Frankfurt all advanced after a largely positive session in Asia, while Hong Kong ended flat and Shanghai closed slightly lower. Investors were encouraged by NVIDIA's earnings and reports that the US may delay planned semiconductor tariffs. In Nepal's Bara district, a curfew has been imposed for the second day after clashes between local youth and cadres of the Communist Party of Nepal Unified Marxist-Leninist took place. The clashes broke out on Wednesday when youth protesters confronted CPN-UML members. A few youth were injured and alleged that they were attacked by party workers. Senior UML leaders, including Mahesh Basnet and General Secretary Shankar Pokharel, were scheduled to address a youth mobilization event in Bara. Around 100 to 150 youth gathered in Simara Chowk to protest Basnet's arrival. As UML cadres reached Simara Airport to welcome Basnet, tensions escalated and a clash erupted between them and the youth. Following the incident, the local administration imposed a curfew in Simara and restricted movement within 500 meters of the airport. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world as well. Well, Meta has announced that all Australians under 16 will be removed from Facebook, Instagram and Threads starting the 4th of December, ahead of a new national law taking effect from the 10th, which requires social media platforms to block underage users or face major fines. Teens flagged incorrectly can verify their age through a video selfie or official ID. 5 people were gravely injured after 2 passenger trains crashed near Prague on Thursday, while 40 others were mildly injured. The cause of the crash is still under investigation, though it's believed that one of the trains likely passed a signal in the stop position. A cafe in Germany is drawing attention with dishes made from grasshoppers, crickets and mealworms. The cafe's chef began serving dishes with insects as an experiment, but now they've become a hit with students and visitors. The Grevin Museum in Paris has opened a wax statue of Princess Diana dressed in the revenge dress she wore in 1995. The statue depicts Diana in one of the most praised moments of modern-day royal history. The museum continued to garner attention, offering a tribute to Diana while simultaneously offering travelers a unique opportunity to explore Diana's legacy. Now, India has handed over a 70-meter modular bridge and specialized launching tools to Nepal in Hetauda on Thursday. The bridge will be sent immediately to Ramechhap to restore road connectivity, which was damaged in October 2025 rains. The handover is part of India's commitment to provide 10 modular bridges worth over 73 crore Nepali rupees requested by Nepal after the recent disaster. Last year, India had supplied 10 prefabricated steel bridges, with 4 already installed. Indian Coast Guard on Thursday apprehended a Bangladeshi fishing boat with 28 crew members for illegal fishing inside India's exclusive economic zone in the northern Bay of Bengal. The vessel, detected during IMBL surveillance while performing evasive maneuvers, was intercepted and found to be violating the Maritime Zones of India Act. None of the crew possessed valid permits, and their gear and catch confirmed active fishing operations. The boat was escorted to Namkhana Fishing Harbour and handed over to the Marine Police for further legal action. The 56th International Film Festival of India began in Goa from Thursday. The remarkable event promises to be a grand celebration of global cinema. Over 240 films from 81 countries will be screened during the 9-day mega event. Speaking on the occasion, Minister of State for Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Dr. L. Murugan said this edition of IFFI will showcase many young creative minds. Both IFFI and Waves Bazaar will showcase their talent at the global level.
Under the visionary leader of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, to speak about this cinema and media entertainment sector, our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that, I mentioned this quote, this is the time of dawn of orange economy in India, content, creativity and culture, the three pillars of orange economy. The Ministry of Information and Technology taking various steps to give the bridge to the new creators, new young minds, creative minds to the global level. The Waves Bazaar giving a chances to them, and also the creators from various part of the country, they are going a global level reach towards the from the Waves as well as the IFFI.
Sports updates now. An Indian all-rounder, Sneha Rana, hailed as the comeback queen of women's cricket, says the perception around the women's game has changed remarkably after India's World Cup triumph. Speaking exclusively with DD India's Sneha Rana said that parents are now coming forward with greater confidence, encouraging their daughters to take up cricket.
Joining me, the comeback queen of the Indian cricket, Sneha Rana. Sneha, a big achievement by the women cricket team, the way you lifted the trophy for the first time. So, do you think after that you must have met people, and do you think the perception around the women cricket has been changed after that big win?
I have not met many of the people, but yes, people whom I met, the perception has definitely changed, the thinking has definitely changed, the mindset has changed, and there is this thing that you should allow your children to go, and parents are coming up and they are asking me questions, how can we send them to the academy or something else like that. So yeah, the questions are coming up, and I feel really happy and glad to see parents coming up and asking those questions.
Definitely a big change, you want to say that. But overall, you people met with the Prime Minister Modi after that big win. So what was the most important point you liked from the PM's interaction with you people?
So someone asked him कि जो बहुत लोग बोलते हैं तो आपको टेंशन नहीं होती है या आप वो मेंटल प्रेशर कैसे हैंडल करते हो. So someone asked him, तो उन्होंने एक बहुत खूबसूरत सा उसका जवाब दिया कि कुछ भी हो बस आप अपने अंदर देखो. तो वो जवाब मुझे इतना अच्छा लगा कि आसपास की सारी नॉइज़ बंद करके आप सिर्फ अपने आप को देखो, आपके अंदर से जो आवाज़ आती है आप उसको फॉलो करो.
You have faced multiple struggles in your life, especially with that comeback, a long gap after that injury. So definitely, how you cope with such things, especially if a player is not playing, we can say that a big deal for him or her. So how you just we can say that maintain calm and composure during that period.
I think I got that feeling from my parents, and they are very calm and composed. And जब मैंने ये फील्ड में एंटर किया था तो I already had that in mind कि स्पोर्ट्स में कुछ भी हो सकता है and कभी भी हो सकता है. It's all about the mindset, I think.
So definitely the kind of mindset Sneha Rana has showed, definitely we can say that is the message for all the budding cricketers, and they can learn this trick from her. And the kind of bench strength right now we have, and the kind of talented players and the veteran players we have, definitely the future of the Indian cricket is bright, and India women's cricket team definitely going to rule the cricketing world. With camera person Manoj, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen and download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Up next is the Economic Brief with Mark Lane.